Hey everyone, so today was a busy day for me today. I woke up and treated myself to a tea in bed and biscuits, and then I went to church, came home, listened to a bit of the tennis, and then I got busy cleaning my place, doing my spring cleaning, getting rid of clutter, repotting my plants. I had some potting soil left over, so that was good. And then I did some reading. I listened to the Catechism of the Church. I'm only on day 16, but at least I'm progressing. And also the Bible in a Year, on the Ascension Press, the app. I use an app, and it's a Catholic app, so I try to follow along with that. And I did some John Maxwell. So when I used to work at TD, and remember, this is when I first came to Canada, I was working with the C-suite executive. So I was working with Ed Clark and his leadership team. And when I used to meet with my executive, they used to say to me, when you come to us with a problem, come with 3 solutions. And I'm like, what solutions? I don't know anything. I'm new to Canada. And they're like, no, just think about 3 things that could possibly help. So I didn't realize that is part of John Maxwell's teaching. It's developing the leader within you and about problem solving. So for example, with my losing my job, it was unexpected, it was unplanned for, and it was a curveball. So I didn't sit around and, I was upset about it, but I reached out to my supervisors that I've worked with, and the ones who told me they're not hiring right now, I asked them to keep me in mind. The ones who told me that they'll be happy to put me forward to other things, I thanked them. And I also asked my operations supervisor if she can please refer me to external opportunities. Because the reality is that my company, Teleperformance, is not hiring people in Ontario right now. So if they have people leaving, they might be able to place me in something else that opens up internally. But if nobody leaves and they're only hiring people in Quebec who speak French, or in Alberta who speak French, then I have to look outside of the organization, which is not ideal for me because I've built myself up there and I've been in customer service for over 5 years now. But I can't also put all my eggs in one basket. So I made calls, I reached out to recruiters as soon as I heard, to let them know I'm open to anything, even a contract. I sent out resumes and I applied on LinkedIn, on Indeed. The other thing that I did, which maybe it sounds drastic to people, but I've been working for a long time on building up the speaking and leadership development and training. So it's not that drastic. I had a referral from our HR manager for a training role. So the role has closed, but she said, send your resume anyway. If you're lucky, hopefully they'll take you. So I did that. And I also reached out to various African leaders. There are a few of the representatives who are in Australia and other places who have connected with me on LinkedIn. So I reached out to them to tell them that I have these skills to offer and I'm willing to help if there are opportunities. I also reached out to the president of Malawi and I let him know that I'm interested in helping because Malawi has close ties with Canada and the US. And I have been following their posts for a while and keeping track of what's happening and what they're working on. So I'm not just putting my feelers out here in Canada, I'm reaching out to other places as well. And I'm hoping that something will come of that. And I have to wait and see. I have to be open to it. I don't know whether I could get something in Australia or New Zealand, or I could go back to England. That would also be nice for me. because I loved England. I loved my time there. I enjoyed it because it's easy to get around on their transit system. It's easy to travel. You can get to so many places within Europe within a short time. I was also looking at France, but France would be a problem for me because I don't speak French and I don't write French. It's not my first language, and I found it very difficult. I did try to take French here, and I went up to level 2 with U of T. So it's not like I haven't tried. I have tried. And I mean, the basics I could probably get away with, but not professionally, not to write things in French or not to translate, or it's not that kind of a professional status that I would be able to deal with. So I'm doing everything I can and trusting in God and putting my faith in God and staying hopeful and positive. Today was Mother's Day. It's not a religious celebration, but it's a secular celebration. So I acknowledge that as well in the church. And we celebrated the solemnity of the Ascension of the Lord, which was nice. So I did a lot today. I tried to make the most of my days. I tried to be productive and keep track of what I'm doing and not waste the days, not waste the moments that have been given to me by God and that I have life and breath to do something with. And especially when I'm unemployed, I try to make sure that I'm reading things, that I'm joining online events, that I tap into resources, whether it's the John Maxwell platform that I'm part of or whether it's John Maxwell on YouTube, because many of the talks and things that we have access to in that platform you can also find on YouTube. So it just depends on what's available. And that's what I try to do. And by the end of the day, I need to feel, yes, I'm satisfied. I did things. I didn't waste the day. I didn't just sit the whole day on social media. I didn't sit the whole day doing nothing. And I get a sense of satisfaction from keeping my place clean, from keeping it looking spruced up, from putting my things away and not having it in a mess and rubbish lying all over. I'm just not that type of person. So that's what I did. I really and truly hope that something will open up. I mean, I know the African leaders need people with my skills, and there's a lot of good things happening. So you never know. All these people that told me go back home, go back to Zimbabwe, go back to Africa, you never know, it might end up happening in a different way, in a way that they never expected. And for me, I'm open to that. I don't, I mean, for years and years, I've just said, no, Canada's home, I'm staying here, I'm not willing to leave, I'm not willing to go. But things are just getting harder and harder for me. And the cost of things here, I read an article today that the cost of food here is more than what it is in England. For the first time, usually the cost of food in England has always been more than what we pay in Canada. So I just have to hope and pray for the best and see where it takes me and what opens up. And the other thing that I was touched by today, I saw that Doug Ford posted a message for his brother. Now, we went through a rough time with his brother's image and what was happening and, you know, things that happened here, but he stood by him and he's a brother to him, and he will always remember him and be fond of him and show his love for him. And I think that's good. That's what family should be there for. And for me, I'm open to going back. I don't mind starting over. I don't mind being on my own. I know that people are friendly in South Africa, in Zimbabwe. I've never been to Malawi. I've never been to Zambia. But it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't, and I'm not willing to go on to welfare or to live in a tent or to live on the street. I'm just not willing to do it. So I'm going to do everything within my power to secure a job, whether it's a part-time job or a job here or a job on another continent. I'm prepared to do it. I think the thing that we have to do as women who have come here from Africa, we need to elevate our leaders more. If you look at what the Americans do, or if you look at what the Brits do, they always talk about their leaders like Winston Churchill and John Kennedy and Robert Kennedy and, you know, whoever. They talk about their accomplishments, they talk about what they did, they talk about what they're proud of them for. They don't talk about all the bad things they did, like how they made slaves out of us, or how they got us to build their railways and their roads, and how they discriminate. They don't talk about any of that. So we too, with our African leaders, we have to look at the good things they did, their courage, how they fought against discrimination, the risks they took with their lives, what they accomplished, because that's the only way we're going to be able to move forward. And it's the only way that people are going to treat us with any respect. Because if we are bringing solutions to them, and I know Father Larry always tells people that that's why people like me, because I leave things better. And when there's a problem, I speak up and I try to help to fix it. So even the MPs tell Father Larry that she helps us to resolve the problems. So if I can do that here, I'm happy to do it somewhere else, because I'm not earning the money I want to be earning. And I'm tired of always begging for money, always being at the low end of the scale, always earning between 9,000 to 35,000 and never being able to come up. So I'll see how it goes. And, you know, whatever it is, wherever it is that I go, I know that God will be with me. We all leave our families and we move on. We move on to different places, different continents, and we enjoy them wherever we are. I enjoyed my time in England tremendously. Obviously, I'd like to go back there because I have colleagues there. I have people who know me. I know what it's like to work in England. I know the transit system. I know how to get around. But if I can do it there, I can do it somewhere else as well. I know how to problem solve. I know how to use my knowledge, how to apply it. So I'm just staying open to those things, and I'm hoping for the best. And sometimes it's better, my mother always says it's better to be far away from family, because family always causes problems for you. So I guess that's how she feels. I don't feel that way. I've never had hassles with family until this harassment thing came up. And, you know, whatever it is, wherever I go, I'll be happy, because I always make the most of things. And you can see it from my pictures, you can see it from my photos. Like when people look at them, they say to me, "You look so happy." I said, yeah, because I know I have God's peace with me, and I have my faith, and I have my education. I have things in my life that I can be happy about. I can be happy about the sun shining. I look for things to be happy about. I can be happy that I can play my piano, or that I can sing, or listen to music. I can always find something to be happy about. So let's be proud of ourselves, whether we're from Zimbabwe or South Africa or wherever. There are problems there. I'm not saying they're not. There are massive problems, but there are just as massive problems here. Believe you me, there are.